On most cases, the power supply is installed at the top of the case above the motherboard. In this case, the power supply goes below the motherboard at the bottom of the case. The power supply is secured to the case with 4 screws. Hold the power supply in place and match up the power supply screw holes with the holes in the case. Insert the first screw at the top and the second at the opposite bottom corner. Leave them loose at first until all the screws are in, and then tighten them down. Check the power supply for a slider next to the primary power switch. If it has a slider, set it to 115 volts or 230 volts, depending on your local power requirements. 115 volts is standard for the US. Most modern power supplies don't have a switch and detect the voltage automatically. Wait to connect the power supply to the outlet until the computer is fully put together. There are 6 types of connectors on an ATX 12V 2.2 power supply. The first is a 24-pin connector that provides the main source of power to the motherboard. Some power supplies come with a 20 plus 4-pin connector, and you can remove 4 of the pins by breaking them off in case your motherboard only needs the 20 pins. The second is a 4 or 8-pin plug that connects to the motherboard. Some power supplies come with 2 4-pin plugs that you can combine to create an 8-pin plug. The third is a 4-pin plug, also called Molex, which connects to some fans, hard drives, DVD, and Blu-ray drives. Fourth is a smaller 4-pin plug used to power a floppy drive. Fifth, a flat SATA power connector for SATA drives. And sixth, a 6 or 6 plus 2-pin PCI Express video card power connector. Not all video cards require a connection to the power supply. Most video cards that do require the 6 or 6 plus 2-pin connectors will come with a 4-pin Molex to 6 or 6 plus 2-pin adapter. All of the power plugs are keyed, so you can't put them in upside down. If you have a modular power supply, decide which of the cables you will need and save the rest for future use. Read the manual for the power supply to make sure you plug the cables into the correct spots on the power supply. We'll begin by connecting the 4-pin Molex plugs into the fans that came with the case. It sometimes takes some extra pressure. These fans only have 4-pin Molex connections, so we can't plug them into the motherboard to monitor or control their speed. The fans have low, medium, and high-speed switches. If there aren't enough Molex connectors, Y-power adapters that split the power from one Molex connector into 2 are available. We'll connect the fan we installed on the side of the case to one of the 3-pin power connections on the motherboard. The flat SATA connectors will go into the 2 SATA hard drives and SATA DVD drive. We'll connect the main 20 or 24-pin plug into the motherboard. This motherboard has an 8-pin power connection above the CPU. There is a cover over half the connection to accommodate power supplies with only a 4-pin plug. We'll remove the cover and plug in all 8 pins. Again, all of the connections are keyed, so the plugs can only go in one way. Our video card does require a 6-pin PCI Express power connection. If you need to remove the main power cable, the 4 or 8-pin plugs, or the PCI Express power connectors, there is a tab to hold down while you pull. Look for ways to route the power and data cables so they don't interfere with the airflow in the case. Use your case's cable management system or zip strips to hold them back if you need to. That's it. The computer is assembled. In the next lesson, we'll power the computer on.